Hey folks, I just want to remind you to check out my eBay store at seemsgoodmagic.com for some playsets and singles. I also want to remind you to check out live stream times, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. And also follow us on Twitter at seemsgoodmagic. Thanks, and enjoy the video. Hey everybody, Alex from seemsgoodmagic.com here for an 8-4 Theros draft. Our rare is Gift of Mortality, good. What else do we have that's good in here? Nylea's Emissary, quite good. Wingsteed Rider. Heroic is my favorite mechanic from this set, and for limited at least. So I think it's probably going to be the Wingsteed Rider, but let's examine a little bit more. Nimbus Naiad is also very good. Still think I want the Wingsteed Rider more. Mogus's Marauders is also very good if you want to do like the Gray Merchant route or whatever. If you've been watching my last few vids, you see that I just typically go as aggressive as possible. And the nice thing is you can pretty much do aggression in any color combination because every color has heroic, and every color has you know, some powerful heroic as well. I guess green is probably the clunkiest heroic, but that's okay. Let's go with the Wingsteed Rider because it's a powerful card and it's evasive and it gets big and works really well with tricks, so I like it. Gonna take it. Follow-up pick. Alright, interesting choices here. We've got Titan Strength, Coordinated Assault, Daxos of Meletus, Crow and Hoplite. All very good. I'm kind of leaning towards Coordinated Assault since you get double heroic triggers, as well as the fact that it's just an awesome trick. Daxos of Meletus is white already, moves us into white-blue. White-blue is fine. You also get access to Battle-Wise Hoplite, which is a very good scry and pump heroic dude. He's uncommon though, a little less likely you see him. I think we're probably going to go with the Coordinated Assault. Big fan of this trick in general. The fact that you get double heroic triggers on it just typically, I think, just puts it right over the edge for me. I do like Daxos. He's cool. Ability is definitely cool. I think I'd rather just have the Coordinated Assault. Let's establish ourselves in red-white now, if possible. Oh, wow. Perfect. All right. Fire Drinker Satyr. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, in the same pack as Heliod's Emissary. Interesting. It's quite the dilemma. Well, this is a rare. This is an uncommon. This is probably the best Emissary. I'm not even going out on a limb saying that. I mean, this is probably the best Emissary there is. Fire Drinker Satyr, one of the few 1-drop 2-power guys. If you're trying to go ultra aggressive, it's very nice to have this guy. He's rare. Yes, his downside is very bad, but keep in mind, he's a 1-mana 2/1. I mean, it's very powerful. I really do like Heliod's Emissary a lot. I think that's a powerful ability. This is quite the dilemma. I want both the aggressive creature and the powerful late game creature. I think we're going to go aggressive. I'm going to try and just pick up as much cheap stuff as I can. Typically, that's what you want to do when you play aggro. Heliod's Emissary, probably a more powerful card, but I mean, red-white, you just want to get those cheap guys. You really do. This pack seems a little bit weak for us currently. Nothing really in red or white that's grabbing my attention as quite good. Peak Eruption's fine, it's just better sideboard cards. Setessan Griffin, fine, except a little overpriced. Definitely some solid green picks in here. I mean, red-green, totally playable. Green-white, totally playable. If I was to take a pick from the green, it'd probably be the Time to Feed since it's removal. I don't really like the idea of going Naya aggro because playing 3-color typically means you're mid-range, and I am trying to go for aggressive. But I think we're going to take the Time to Feed just in case I end up going into green. It is possible. Okay, here we've got Flamespeaker Adept. We've got Ordeal of Heliod. I do like the Ordeal cards a lot. Very powerful. I like the Flamespeaker Adept a lot too. Currently 0 Scry cards, but that can change. Wavecrash Triton, excellent heroic card. Some decent picks in here all around. I think we're going to go with the Ordeal. It's the 10 life gain if you if you resolve this at the right time, it really, the 10 life gain can be completely game flipping, and it's been game flipping on me before. So as much as I do like the idea of Flamespeaker Adept, I think we're going to go with the White Ordeal here. Okay. So fascinating directions we can go here. I think we're probably just going to go with the Spear Point Oread. You know, decent first strike body for 3 mana, as well as 6 mana trigger heroic. Quite good. So I'm going to take that over the Temple of Abandon. I'm just going to check real quick. Temple's not worth anything. I'm pretty sure it's not, but just out of curiosity. Temple of Abandon. Nope, not worth anything. So let's take this. Okay, Lagana Band Elder, perfectly fine. We have already got 1 enchantment, or 2 enchantments. So this guy can gain you some life. He's a relatively good body. 3 power at least is pretty good, so we'll take that. I'm okay with that. Okay, we can do Chosen by Heliod, which triggers heroic. We can do Last Breath, which is removal. Typically not that good with aggro. Burnished Heart helps fix for mana as well as give you a little body. Decent. I think we're probably just going to go with the Portent of Betrayal. This card typically goes late, and I like it. So I'm going to take it over the Chosen by Heliod. Alright, this was our initial pack. We've got a couple options here. Gift Immortality, which is fine. I mean, triggers heroic and makes something indestructible, or kind of. I guess it doesn't really make something indestructible, but it's decent. I mean, it does trigger heroic, so it's a little more interesting to me than Opaline Unicorn for this deck in particular. So, and Wild Celebrants might even get another opportunity. Let's take Gift Immortality for interest's sake. Alright, now we have Borderland Minotaur, Vanquish the Foul. I think we want the Minotaur. It's a solid body, solid price for what you get. And we still have a chance to get maybe the Red Fanatic, in which this guy gives you double devotion, which is nice. Vanquish the Foul is playable. I'm just not really interested in it at this juncture. Alright, let's take the God's Willing over the second Borderland Minotaur. God's Willing happens to be an amazing spell in general. Double that when you got your whole heroic aggro strategy going on, so I like that. Let's go that route. Alright, did get the Wild Celebrants anyway, that's perfectly acceptable. Silent Artisan, just cutting white. Fleet Feather Sandals, probably not playing it. And last pick Boulder Fall, which is kind of funny, but not going to play that either. Alright, so it looks like we still have the opportunity to go red-white. Unfortunately, only got 1 heroic spell there, a little sadly, but still have some opportunities here to find both red and white ones out of the next couple packs. Okay, pack number 2. It doesn't look like we have many intriguing first picks here. Steam Augury Foil's kind of cool. Too bad that rare didn't catch on, huh? Temple of Mystery, off color with both of us. Otherwise, I actually would have considered it as just a nice little scry effect, but I think we're just going to go with Spear Point Oread. It doubles as an enchantment for value with Elder, and Bestow for value with Heroic. Yeah, seems acceptable. He's fine. Okay. Crone Hoplite, looks like it's probably the pick here. Minotaur Skullcleaver, also very good. We're in need of some cheaper creatures, however, and our Crone Hoplite is actually pretty good with First Strike tricks and God's Willing and Gift Immortality, stuff like that. But do I like the Skullcleaver more? I mean, it's a legit question. I do like Skullcleaver. Last time we did not table the Crone Hoplite, though. We are in the right colors for it. Alright, I think we're going to go with the Bear on this one. As much as I do want this Skullcleaver, this just has a lot of potential value and has done a lot of good things for me. And like I said, if we're going to be able to be as aggressive as we need to be, we need to have solid 1 and 2 drops, and this definitely constitutes that, so let's take it. Alright, follow-up pick. Got Rageblood Shaman, which is fine, just currently, I mean, I guess we have a Borderland Minotaur, so there's a chance we find some more. I'm actually okay with Rageblood Shaman here, especially if we find some more Minotaur Skullcleavers or whatever that stupid 2-mana, 2/3 that has to attack each turn. If we get that as well, I could see it being good. Otherwise, Titan Strength, which just does absolutely explosive amounts of damage with both Heroic and 2-headed Cerberus. So legitimate options there. I think we're going to go for the Rageblood Shaman for interest's sake. It's rare, so we are less likely to see more of them, and we are in colors that have plenty of Minotaurs, so I have a chance to pick up some more. And in a pinch, it's a 2-3 with Trample, so not too shabby there either. Okay. Divine Verdict, Priest of Iroeas, and Stephenson Battle Priest. I think it's pretty obvious. Divine Verdict gives us some removal, and yeah, it gives us removal. And we still have a chance to table Priest. Okay. We've got a second Lagana Band Elder. We have a second Portent of Betrayal. I think we're just going to opt into the second Lagana Band Elder. I mean, Stephenson Battle Priest is a card, and it's a 2-drop. I'm just not super psyched about it. So let's go Band Elder. All right, here we're going to take the Temple of Silence since it gives us a scry effect in our deck, which is fine. It's also a highly played card in black-white mid-range, so it might be even worth something. Okay, we've got Cavalry Pegasus. We also have two-headed Cerberus. Current humans are this guy which already flies. This guy's not human. This guy's human. So short on humans, which makes the Pegasus a little less appealing. Let's go with the Cerberus, which I like more with pump effects anyway. This pack so far is a little bit lackluster. Here we go. Okay. Here's a good pack. All right, so we're going to take our Arena Athlete, which is exactly what this deck needed. Not only is it a cheap creature, but it has a very relevant heroic effect. Very unfortunate that it's in the same pack as both Titan Strength and Dragon Mantle, which are excellent for triggering heroic. But I can't complain about getting exactly what this deck needed, so I won't. Stephenson Griffin, in a pinch, we could play it over Wild Celebrants, or probably more likely Silent Artisan. So let's take the Griffin. It's playable if we need it. I don't really like it all that much, though, admittedly. All right, Decorated Griffin. Fine, I'd probably play it over Wild Celebrants just because it's evasive, but still a little bit unimpressed. Yoke Docks, I guess, could be a decent sideboard against us. Also a decent option to have access to. All right, Flamecast Wheel. I've sideboarded it before, but I'm usually not that impressed with it. Deck's looking a little bit lackluster. I really need it to pick up here in Pack 3. I mean, the good news is we have a deck that I can already see is going to be playable from Pack 3, but we're really looking for 2 more heroic guys at the very least, and at least I would like at least a couple burn spells, a couple more removal. I'm just not sure if we're going to get that or not. I'm hoping that we do. I'm going to let our opponents take that, at least indicate we're not in black. Not that it will make that much of a difference, presumably, but we'll see. I assume we're competing pretty hard with some people as we are missing quite a few picks. All right, is Nylea worth anything? It probably is. Let's find out. Nylea is worth currently. Is no one writing Nylea? I don't understand. I wrote Nylea and no one else wrote it, or people don't like writing stuff, huh? Okay. There we go. 1? Buying for 1. All right. Guess it's not worth that much. So let's take a solid pick instead. Presumably the Ill-Tempered Cyclops, which quickly turns into a huge win con. Otherwise, Battle-Wise Valor, which is good for triggering heroic. Is Nylea really only worth 1? That is absolutely shocking to me. No one else is buying it for more? Really? I mean, I knew it wasn't a super highly played card, but that seems really cheap for one of the gods. But we took a Cyclops instead. I'm not going to complain about it. That's fine. Second Wingsteed Rider. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what this deck needed. Happily accept and take that. Stone Shock Giant, Ill-Tempered Cyclops, Spear Point Oread. Super relevant cards also in this pack. But hey, taking that Wingsteed Rider all day, every day. All right. Choices now. We've got Perforos's Emissary, which is almost assuredly the choice here. Also Ill-Tempered Cyclops. very shocking how few on cheap creatures we have. Hopefully we can table a Rambler or something crappy that's cheap. We definitely need some more 2-drop and 1-drop creatures. I just think we're probably getting cut on Favored Hoplite or something like that. Let's take the Perforos's Emissary, cut this Wild Celebrants. Okay. Choices now. We've got enough creatures, so we can opt into Dragon Mantle, triggering Heroic and stuff like that. Flamespeaker Adept's fine. We've already got enough 3-drop creatures. Let's take the Dragon Mantle, I think. Rage of Perforos is fine too, a little bit expensive. Let's take the Dragon Mantle. Alright, here we go. We're going to take the Crone Crusader, which is actually something this deck desperately wants and needs, since we're in need of more heroic cards in general, since we have probably enough stuff to enchant them with. So we're going to take the Crusader, presumably cutting the Gift of Immortality, as it's not really necessary in this deck, but playable. Second Crusader, that seems fine, yeah. We did need cheap stuff. They are, in fact, cheap effects and creatures, so I can accept that. And we'll begin cutting Decorated Griffin. Just go deep on a Crone Crusaders? I guess we can. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm certainly not taking anything else here. Vanquish the Fowl's fine, just not amazing. Alright. Well, good news is we ended up getting enough heroic creatures. Bad news is Crone Crusader is not exactly the one I had in mind. But that's okay. He's acceptable. So let's cut the Griffin up here. Maybe we can make a 16 land deck. I think that's going to be a lot easier with the 1-drops we just picked up. Alright. Let's take the Spark Jolt. It's playable, not amazing. I already have 2 of these guys. Don't need a third, really. Let's take the Priest, which is main deckable, but probably we're going to end up sideboarding it. And, oh, Table an Ill-Tempered Cyclops. That's fantastic. We're going to make him work in here for sure. Okay, so good news, ended up with enough playable cards. Bad news, some of them are a little bit more lackluster than others. So this is a 24-card deck right here. It's 18 creatures. Acceptable amounts of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you count these, 7. I mean, oh, another Ill-Tempered or the Chosen by Heliod. It's a legitimate question, isn't it? Do I want to, I mean, Ill-Tempered Cyclops are fantastic creatures. Chosen by Heliod gives us one more heroic trigger, but we have enough creatures. I'm actually going to go with the Cyclops. I want to make all of them work. I mean, they turn into 6/6 guys. Can you really, you know what I mean? Can you really complain about a hill giant that turns into a 6/6? Even though I probably could have used that Chosen by Heliod, I think I'd rather just have the Cyclops instead. Let's cut cheap creatures that can chump block us. Let's take Afara's Warden for sideboard and Demolish for sideboard. Okay. Looks like a decent deck. Certainly not the most amazing deck I've ever played. I'm happy that we got a double Wingsteed Rider. I mean, like I said, we certainly ended up with enough heroic guys, and we may not even be playing all of their Crone Crusaders, but for now I'm definitely going to slam them all in here so we can at least see what we're working with. Let's put in the Athlete, these guys. Got some Wingsteed Riders, which is good. God's willing. You gotta go in there, and you're gonna go in there for scrying. Okay, so this is 25. Let's take a look at some stuff here. Look at our curve a little bit. Look at our early creatures. So it's starting to look like a 17 land deck. My reasons being, even though you can play these for 4, you want 6 mana, ideally, to get that monstrosity. This bestows for 7, even though I admit totally playable as a 4-drop. What else is going to reward us? These are like excellent 6-drop heroic triggers. So I could see playing 17 lands in here because of that. This is a mana sink. But triple a Crone Crusader is definitely so cheap that I almost want to run 16 lands instead. I mean, the good news is we have enough creatures. So creatures are an easy way to cut in the beginning. For example, I believe we're cutting the Rageblood Shaman. He's just the most underwhelming card here. Like, I even like the Lagana Band Elders more, just because the only thing that this interacts with is Borderland Minotaur. And although that's good, it's just he's too underwhelming on his own and color intensive to really make me want to go for that value. I'd rather just get 3 mana, 3 power, and potential life gain. Ended up with a few less heroic triggers than I would have liked, I guess. We actually ended up almost with more heroic guys than heroic triggers, oddly enough. So I think I'm probably going to cut one of these Crusaders. So how does this look? Looks like we didn't quite get enough cheap creatures, oddly enough. Typically, you don't have any problems finding late Satyr Ramblers or late, I can't even think about other cheap kind of crappy cards, but surprisingly, yeah, we definitely got cut on white and red, but more white it seems like we got cut on in this draft, so a little bit unfortunate there. I guess you can't really be too surprised by that. It's a popular archetype for good reason. It's amazingly consistent and strong. Double Wingsteed Rider does make me happy. Having some Crone Crusaders. Arena Athlete can take over games. Triple Ill-Tempered Cyclops is very good news since these are quite insane as 6/6 Tramplers. Yeah, we're gonna play 17 lands. I want to turn these guys on consistently and fast. So this deck, it's decent. I'd say it's about a 6 out of 10. Could have been much, much better had we picked up, I would say, 2 to 3 more 2-in-1 drop creatures. This deck probably would have been an 8 out of 10. Just because of how the curve looks and how we ended up, I'd say it's about a 6 out of 10. Nothing amazing, unfortunately. But that's okay. Let's take a look at our colors. Yeah, we're going to want to do more red than white, but we'll still probably end up doing 9/8 just because I want to consistently be able to play my Wingsteed Riders. So we'll do 9/8, and we're going to cut 1 Plains for Temple of Silence. I mean, presumably we could go the other route, 9/8 on Plains to mountains. That might actually be better, but I think the dilemma is we have just significantly less white cards. So I think 8 Plains should be enough to consistently see 2. I admit that Temple of Silence sort of hinders the mana base a little bit, but Scry is actually just very, very strong and good, especially when you're trying to dig for an answer immediately. What are our answers in here? Coordinate Assault's an excellent trick. Divine Verdict's an answer. Portent of Betrayal's a steal effect. Very short on removal. Just reinforcing that this deck really needed removal and more cheap creatures. So just really fell short in packs 2 and 3. Extremely, actually, now that I'm taking a look at it, really fell short in packs 2 and 3. We ended up getting good win cons, but short on both removal and cheap creatures is really not what an aggressive deck wants to do. So in that respect, a little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. I'm going to accept it. We're going to try this deck out. Sometimes mediocrity gets there, but I will definitely say I'm not super confident with this deck. I could cut one of these Lagana Band Elders for another Crone Crusader. It's just 1 mana 1/1s really don't blow my mind. They do work really well with Hoplites since you end up getting a ton of 1/1s. But like I said, we didn't even get a ton of heroic triggers. Only like 4 to 5 or something. So I think we're probably just going to run it like this and see what we can do and hope for the best. So, okay, with that said, I'll see you round 1.